Nichelle's going to sit in with us next. Have a seat here at Shane's Rib Shack. Didn't even know who Nichelle was, so I heard about Nichelle from the Hurd sisters. You ever heard of the Hurd sisters? Little Emily and Jillian and Emma Hurd. The Hurd sisters, they play for the Page Pirates. They were telling me about it, and their mom was talking about this girl, Nichelle Jeffries, in Northeast Guilford, the good job she's been doing for that team. What has it been like this year? You girls have had a lot of success. What's it been like having a lot of success this year?
It's been great. I like playing with these girls. They have built me to be more confident in what I do on the court.
And what about Coach Steele? What's Coach Steele meant to the equation this year? What's he meant to your team and meant to you as a player?
To go out and play hard and do what you can do.
Who's the biggest influence in your basketball life, say we go away from Coach Steele? Who'd be the biggest influence other than your coach of the team? Anybody else out there that's really been good to you as far as basketball education and basketball knowledge?
Parents.
Parents have been good. Jeffrey's parents, are they also basketball people? Mm-hmm. Maybe from the background?
Basketball and football.
Basketball and football both. Man, I would mention to Donna Neal about her. She said she has a relative, maybe Curly Neal, from basketball background. Any relation to the Haywood Jeffries family? Ever heard of them? Haywood Jeffries played at Page years ago? Maybe might be some connection there somewhere. We never know. What is now? Where were you at 1 year ago? You weren't even in the varsity with the varsity team last year. You were in middle school last year. What was going on in middle school basketball for you? Is that doing pretty well last year?
Yes, we had been conference champs last year, and this year they're doing pretty good.
How about who coached that middle school team back in the day for you? Who was your coach back there? You remember?
Officer Graves.
Who's it again?
Officer Graves.
Officer Graves. Officer Graves. I maybe had to check. How well did that Northeast team do? You say you won the conference championship in middle school basketball?
We only lost one game in the conference. We played Eastern Guilford.
Okay, Eastern. You've got Eastern Guilford coming up Monday night. What about that game with the Wildcats Monday? What do you see when you look in that mirror and you're looking at visual for Monday's game against Eastern Guilford's Wildcats? What do you see in that team?
I see that we're going to go out with intensity and win that game no matter what.
What are your goals with that game for yourself? What do you want to do Monday when your time comes and you hit that court?
To play defense, box out, and play with good intensity.
Good intensity. How about the box out? How tough is that to do? I mean, you sound like you might be a pretty good rebounder, too. I mean, you're scoring probably, I would say you got to be scoring somewhere around 12, 13, 14 points a game. You're doing well in that category. What does it take to be a good rebounder? How do you do that boxing out? How does that work?
You have to put, if you're playing against big girls, you have to put all your force into it because they might push you around, not call fouls or anything, but you still have to work and hard and get the ball.
How do you get tough in there? Because you're not, it's not like you're 6'6", weighing 275 pounds. You're a little smaller, but how do you get tough in there and get that basketball rebounding ability going? What's it take mixing it up in there?
Sometimes I have to push them out the way just to get the ball.
Had to put a little extra shove on those girls, huh? Now, during the season, I think Coach Steele told us you lost both times, maybe to Eastern Guilford. One of those games was fairly close against Eastern when you played them before. What do you need to do to get over the hump and beat them Monday night to get that win?
Play good defense.
What about Northern Guilford? You faced them this year, too. How tough is that team? We'll go over some of these teams in your conference that you've gone up against. How tough is that Northern Guilford Nighthawk team?
It's pretty tough, but I think the next time we play them, I think we have a good chance of winning.
And a good chance. How about that big? You remember Northern? You remember the players from Northern? Remember that point guard Sydney Wilson? I think she's number 10, maybe. But the one I remember from Northern was that real big, tall girl, about 6'3", Lisa Canane. You remember Lisa? How do you battle a girl like that big?
It's pretty hard. If you drive in, she'll easily block your shot. Mm-hmm. But I think, if you pump fake or anything, you can get your shot off.
A little head fake, a little pump fake, maybe get her off her feet, get her in the air a little bit, and go right by her, maybe get that shot in. Now, you probably saw her back in middle school days, too. You've probably seen her before. Good battles. They got another kid on their team, too. I think her name is Cassie Robakevich, and that's pretty tough. So they got two good freshmen there. On your team, you got yourself, as in Nichelle Jeffries. You've also got Donna Neal. Who are some other players on your team we haven't maybe mentioned tonight that might be important players to keep an eye on for Northeast Guilford? Who else can you give a shout out to tonight besides yourself and also Donna that are tough for your team?
Valerie, Michaela, LaJayla.
What does Valerie do so good for you?
Drives in and simply make an M1.
How about Michaela?
Same.
Yep. Who else? Who else did we mention here?
LaJayla.
What does she do well?
Shoots.
Shooter. Who's the probably the top defender on your team? Who plays the best defense? Who would you say?
Naya.
Naya probably tough on defense. Let's ask you about Coach Steele. We talked about him a little bit earlier. We talked about what he brings to the team, what you girls have been learning. What's the most important thing about what he's done, you think, this year as far as teaching goes? What has he taught your team as far as turning this thing around, getting your team to become a better club?
I'll say by working with each other, coming out and help others know what to do.
What would you say was your favorite class over at Northeast Guilford? I mean, you got your academic side you got to work with. Got to keep those academics going. What's the favorite class over these days?
Science.
Science. Who's the teacher there?
Mr. Garcon.
Mr. Garcon. Pierre Garcon, Washington Redskins wide receiver. That's one looking right quick. What about least favorite class? One you may not like too much right now, but maybe getting better down the road.
World history. World history.
World history now. We won't mention the teacher's their name. What makes that world history class so tough?
A lot of reading.
A lot of reading. Any reporting? Any special writing go with it? Gotcha there. If you got another sport other than basketball you play, you enjoy?
Not really.
Strictly basketball. When basketball season's over, when you girls finish up in about a week or two, maybe 3 weeks down the road, what do you do then in the off season? What kind of plan you got?
AAU.
And who's the AAU boss, the coach?
Clavon.
Clavon Ingram. If we had to call Clavon Ingram in tonight, we needed some help from Clavon. How could Clavon help us with our basketball game? What could he do for us? What could he teach us? What could he help us with? Would you say rebounding maybe?
Yeah.
Because he's so dog. Whenever I think of Clavon, I think of somebody huge, somebody big, somebody with those elbows extended out to get the job done. We talk about game changer. Anybody on your team you think that might be the game changer can just turn that game around and make it change in a hurry? On your team, you think?
I would say everybody because when we're like close to a really good chance of winning, everybody comes in and plays together.
Mm-hmm. Now, in a close game down the stretch, so your team's fighting to try to get that win. Say, we'll just use Eastern Guilford as an example coming Monday night. Trying to get that win, trying to get over the hump, trying to get it done. If time comes to get you the ball, what do you do when you get that ball? And do you want that ball in a tough game situation like that?
If there's a shot open, I'll take it, but I'll try to drive in the basket and probably get an and win.
What's your best shot and your best move? You probably got a good move you maybe use too. What's your best move? What's your best shot?
Between the legs, use the pick and drive in.
So get a little fancy on us, huh? Does the between the legs work pretty good? Between the legs and get the screen and drive in and get the shot off. Where did you learn that move?
Clavon.
Clavon Ingram. So if we had to put something beside the check pluses, got to give Mr. Ingram a check plus on that, right? What's the name of that AAU team, by the way?
Lady Phoenix.
Lady Phoenix. Do you ever get to work with Mr. Rudd, too? Ever run into Mr. Glenwood? So they've helped you quite a bit. Where do you train with them? Over at the Sportsplex?
Yes, and my other trainer is Walt Hampton.
Walt who now?
Walt Hampton.
Walt Hampton. So you got a lot of help, right? You got some. How long have you been doing this basketball game? When did you start playing?
Since I was 5.
5 years old. Who was your first coach back in the old days? Can you remember back that far?
Can't remember.
Nah, 5 years old though. Do you remember where you were playing back then? Who you got started with back in the old days?
BSM.
Who's it again?
The BSM.
WSN. So you've been around basketball since 5 years old. How have you gotten better this year since last year? You came from the middle school to the high school. How have you gotten better this year? I know you had to grow up a little bit. Had to grow up pretty fast too. But how have you gotten better this year?
Yes, I have. I have got better over the years because in middle school, I would basically just shoot. But now since I'm in high school, playing with tougher people, I drive in a lot. I pass, and I look for my teammates.
Now, let me ask you something else too. Now, you also play defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to do to be an effective defender? What makes a good defender, you think?
You have to move your feet.
Got to keep the feet moving at all times, and you also kind of got to be careful too about them getting that big step on you as well, right? You like the zone defense or the man-to-man defense better?
Zone.
Like a little zone, little shift, little type like that. A few more questions for Nichelle Jeffries, Northeast Guilford Rams. Got basketball in focus and drip check for a Thursday. If you could play for any basketball team in the country, which team would you hook up with or sign up with and play for? Any college team, who do you think you play for?
Duke.
Go with Duke. Duke women, right? Excellent choice there. If you could bring in LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant and have them join your team for Monday night's game, this is a hypothetical situation, just kind of our fantasy type thought on this. Of those two, who do you bring in? Do you bring in Michael? Do you bring in Kobe? Do you bring in LeBron to join you for Monday night's game as you take on Eastern Guilford? One of these guys can come in, they take one of your other girls' spots, they'll play on your team. Who do you select?
Michael Jordan.
Go on, Michael Jordan. Very good. In his prime, I think you made the right choice. A few more questions for young Nichelle. If you had to take a photograph, a picture, like one of those selfies, take a picture of your basketball life and the way your basketball life has gone, kind of a photo, what would we see in that photograph of Nichelle Jeffries' basketball life?
Driving to the basket.
Driving to the basket, the big drive. How tough is it? I mean, you're making the drive, you're getting that contact, feeling that defense coming at you. How tough is it to kind of just lower your head? You got to take it in. It's almost like diving into a lake. You just got to dive in and go see what happens.
It's pretty tough. You'll just have to use all your body strength to get in there, especially when it's like big post players.
Got to get that body strength working in. What do you want to do Monday night? What's the goal going into Monday night's game against Eastern Guilford? I know you want to win, but maybe you got some team goals, maybe some personal goals too. What about Monday night?
To play defense, go out aggressive, and do what we have to do.
And we talk about this 20 years down the road. Where do you see yourself? I mean, how old are you now? 14? 20 years down the road, you're still going to be pretty darn young. But where do you see Nichelle Jeffries 20 years, maybe from this month of February 2015? What do you think you'll be doing? Any idea?
I see myself probably being like a high school coach or a college coach.
Mm-hmm. So maybe want to coach high school and maybe coach college level, maybe come back to Northeast and help Coach Steele, because he'll probably be an old man by then. He may need some help.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Nichelle, good luck in Monday night's game. Thank you for coming in. Keep up the good work. And if you've got Clavon Ingram or Delaney Rudd, talk to them this week if you will. You get a chance, give them a call. Tell them I said get over to Shane's Rib Shack next Thursday. Challenge both those guys coming next Thursday, okay?
Okay.
All right, and be sure to get your meal tonight. Nichelle Jeffries, outstanding job. Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday. Michael Fields is up.